Hello there, my name is Cherry Bond. I'm based in the UK and my background is in nursing. I've been really blessed to be able to work and teach in many neonatal units for several decades alongside an inspirational colleague called Inga Warren. My lifelong passion has been in promoting family-centred neurodevelopmental care. In plain language, this means offering caregiving that focuses on the baby and parents, because after all, humane, nurturing and mindful care positively impacts on the baby's developing brain. I want to take you through a magical 5-step journey parents and staff can share with their tiniest and sickest of babies. It's called the 5-step dialogue. Inconsistency is sadly one of the primary complaints from parents in the neonatal unit. So if all staff and parents used a consistent dialogue with the babies, it could help to prevent this. As many of you will already know, the baby and family are exposed to many challenging experiences throughout their stay, as well as when they go home. So a sense of balance is needed by using a kind, caring and consistent approach, which can ultimately lead to enhanced physical and emotional health, both for those who offer this kind of care, as well as the tiny babies who receive it. The developing neonatal brain can then grow in a world that offers reliable and humane care to optimise their future health and development. A turn-taking dialogue develops instinctively in most parents. They normally learn it at a level below their conscious awareness, and it's the foundation for all other interactions that promote healthy infant development. Difficulties can occur, however, when a parent has been separated from their baby. Maybe they've had baby or babies born early, sick or disabled. Some may have experienced poor parenting themselves. And they may be depressed, stressed or have other mental health problems. Some of these problems can be a direct consequence of having a baby in a neonatal unit. Parents truly deserve extra help to support them with understanding their baby's non-verbal language. This turn-taking dialogue is a foundation for all other interactions. So here it is, the 5-step dialogue I've developed. It's like any conversation. There's an introduction, then the content in the middle, and a finishing point. So let me take you through these steps. Step 1, prepare and observe, keeping in mind to gather all you need so that contact's not broken. If you do have to go somewhere like washing your hands, then you can use a little blanket or a zaki hand that you can tuck them up with. This keeps them from feeling cold, startled or distressed. Look around you and adjust the scene around the baby so that it suits their individual level of sensitivity and maturity. Each baby will be different. Also consider the parents, their comfort and medical condition, their emotional state and timing of whatever you're going to do. Planning is everything. So before you start anything, wait and watch the baby, not the monitors. Look at the rhythm of the baby's breathing and note the subtle differences in the baby's colour. Watch for pale areas or differences in the colour tones on each body area. Note the baby's sleep to wake to fussy or crying states. This isn't an easy task. It's a specific skill that neonatal staff can have specialised education in. We'll talk about that later. So, watch and wonder together with parents. This is so important. They need to feel free to share their own observations because after all they do watch the baby for longer than any other staff on the unit. So offering meaning to what the parents can see will help them realise that they are the true experts in their baby's behaviour, and that's what we want. Step 2, permission. Hey, you might think this is crazy, asking permission, but it's what most parents do naturally with their babies. If any interaction is sudden or abrupt, it can result in triggering a stress response in these tiny early babies. And stress hormones are not great for the developing brain. So while you gently prepare baby, begin by rubbing your hands together. This warns the baby of your approach. And warming your hands can help to maintain baby's temperature too. Start with a word of intention. Do you want to come out for a cuddle? It may be enough to simply think about the words you want to use, especially if the baby's very sick or the unit's too noisy. Sometimes parents and staff can be too shy or feel rather silly to speak to babies initially. You may not always be able to obtain permission in the early days, but you can still acknowledge that in a simple way, saying things like, "Sorry, I know you're sleeping, but your feed's due and I need to take your temperature," or do a blood test or whatever. Asking this permission demonstrates respect for this baby. It shows to all that even very early babies have the ability to interact with their parent or caregiver, and also makes language acquisition more meaningful to the developing infant. Asking permission is a very important step. Step 3, tuning into the baby. Sometimes a parent's ability to tune into their baby can be hampered by all the stressors of having them on the neonatal unit. This is why we've written a book for parents. We'll go back to that later. Also, some staff may have had limited or no education about infant behaviour or cues, as the emphasis is often on only the infant's physical condition. This is why we have training for them. I will always also talk about this on the last slide. It is so important that we help everyone to understand and be receptive to babies' non-verbal language and their developmental goals, so that care is individualised to each baby at any given time. It makes care more humane and ultimately safer. As the baby leads the way, he or she emerges as a unique person rather than seeing them as a medical condition or simply a gestational age. Step 4 is all about adapting all caregiving and clinical procedures in response to the baby's signals using this 5-step dialogue. When initiating contact with the baby, approach slowly and begin with a resting still hand. This lets the baby become aware of the touch without startling. Take a breath and connect with the baby. When you start to move, watch for avoidance cues and go back to still touch until baby settles. This is called pacing your care. Avoidance cues often appear in quick succession, such as a yawn, and then a little sneeze, then another yawn. The quicker you respond to avoidance reactions, the less unstable the baby will be. Pacing may seem to take more time, but it does result in a calmer and more content baby, and this will save you more time in the long run and help the baby be less exhausted. Step 5, completion. Breaking contact is an important last step. We all need to leave at times, making it less difficult for the baby, maintains their safety and stability. So start with a word of impending departure. Sometimes, if baby already drowsy or in light sleep, just a thought would do. Take away your hands very, very slowly. Sometimes the baby may wake or startle. If this happens, go back to still holding and try again when baby settles. Wait and watch after. Even the best of care can cause a hormonal stress response. It may only be noticed about 15 to 20 minutes after the baby's been left or put in the cot or incubator. Explaining to parents to spend time watching can alert them to possible problems, like reflux following a feed, for example. In summary, using a predictable and interactive dialogue in the neonatal unit can maintain consistency. It can keep the baby in balance, and what more would you want? It can be used for all babies from birth. It demonstrates respect and humanity for this tiny human being. It can guide parents in feeling ownership of their baby. It can offer the opportunity for caregiver-infant attunement. Some researchers call this biobehavioural synchrony. It can also enhance the baby's sensory experiences, helping to relieve or avoid tactile or other aversions. So, lastly, this is the website where you can buy this book, Caring for Your Baby in the Neonatal Unit. Initially, we wrote this for parents, but many staff have found it invaluable, they tell us. Neonatal staff can click on the subscribe button to get this newsletter too. It keeps them up to date with new research studies, can share tips and access information about family and infant neurodevelopmental education. Please go and have a look. And thank you to all that have patiently listened to my rather nervous narration. I hope it has inspired some of you to implement this 5-step dialogue.